This is a live streaming session where I sort of just like manually just build stuff, right? Live, right? So that I am learning while everybody who is also joining is also having an opportunity or a chance to also learn one or two things, right? Alongside. So yeah, that's just like the major goal at the moment. I do this on Fridays and Saturdays. I hope I can try to maybe add another day, right, to the list. But right now I'm just on Friday. I do things related to JavaScript majorly, right? And uh, the Friday yesterday was a very interesting one, right? Because we talked about um JavaScript in the sense of execution context, closures, and um, function objects, function constructors. Yeah, those were the things we really talked about yesterday. And the video is here, right? It was a very insightful episode, right? We learned a lot about all the things that can happen, how you can create understanding just the way JavaScript is executed, basically, right? Those are the things we worked about. So if you want to try this out, learn more with me, yes, you can watch this video here. And I did the whole breakdown of execution context. I mean, it's a very interesting topic about how JavaScript is executed and how it keeps variables in its memory, right, such that it understand what is going on. So, yeah, and on Saturdays around this time, 3:33 or 4 Eastern time, I try to, you know, talk about React via nextjs, right, which helps us to understand how to build some things on the server side and on the server side, right? Understanding or using some of the quality things, features that we have inside nextjs, right? So yeah, that is that. Welcome, Waris. How are you? How are you doing today? And so what we have currently right now is we have a login flow for what we're building, right? We have this beautiful login flow, right? um yeah, it's so much. It's not too special, but we have something that works. And I think we have a register flow as well, right? We have a register flow. And yeah, we type here, we're supposed to be able to see. Yeah, we have this here. And we also have um other pages, like I think the forgot password. And I think we also have a reset password flow. I think that should be a reset, if I'm correct. Okay, yeah, we have a reset as well. But there's a bug there. There's a problem there currently. So those are the major things that we're trying to do. So today, last episode, I was trying to use Drizzle to make some things work, and it was giving me so much problems. So I'm just not going to go to Drizzle anymore. I'm just going to use a normal Vercel storage for with Nextauth for now, while I'm also going to be doing some research around how to use Drizzle or Prisma. Maybe I should try Prisma out, but I don't want to try Prisma out. I think Drizzle is what I want to do. But I've used Prisma before, right? But or maybe I'm not sure. Maybe I should even try Prisma out because Drizzle is not working. it's not working as the way, based on the documentation that I'm following, it's not working as I expect it to work. But I think instead of it slowing me down, right? So these are the kind of UIs that we're trying to follow. These are the things that we're trying to follow for the guide of what we're trying to build. And eventually, once we build these, we can go to the dashboard. And I mean, I should also work on the landing page alongside. And yeah, so let's see, what do we have? Hmm. So we have some interesting things here that we want to fix, right? So I'm just going to be focusing on making the authentication work without Drizzle, right? As without using Drizzle. So let's get into it. Let's see what we have currently working for. So right now for the login, maybe I'm just going to start with the register. I'll probably start with the register flow, and from there I can build build the whole thing forward. So I'm also going to be leveraging on some existing things I've written before, right, as much as possible, just to make um, everything work fine. So starting with the register flow, this is the register page, right? We can take away this comment. We can take away this comment. And in here, we have, I think, yeah, we have this here. Let's see, this is the main setup inside of page.css. We have this. So this is the register, right, page. We have the register form, right, which is here. So for the register form, we'll just try to adjust some of the things that we're expecting to make it. So for the field here, we can make this one name, right? For the very first one, we can make it name, right? Which is this. And yeah, it's going to be name, and this is going to be type text. And it's required. Then we have the email, then we have the password. And I think I did some changes to the password here. Where's the login form? I did some changes here to the password here. So I brought in some interesting things for password, right? Where uh for password we can copy this whole thing for password, and then we would see what it is doing later on. Let's just copy this and we put inside the, where's the register? Right here, we'll put it inside here. So we can see, so this is the password. Maybe we should do it this way. Let's clean out this password here and replace this. Paste this here, and we'll duplicate this. So what I just copied here was from the login flow, where I have this field and I have password, but I'm using an input group now, right? And the input group will be coming from component inputs, right? Input group is coming from there. Is my text clear, Waris? Can you see my text? Can you see the text? The font size, is it clear? So we have that. So the input group is helping us to group our inputs together such that we can have a input type password that can also have a icon, a hi button, such that as we are typing the password, then we can see our what we're typing, right? We can see what we are typing. So we also need to bring in I slash. So you can just do a dot here to bring in, add all the missing imports. So we can add all the missing imports, and it's going to bring in the high slash icon and the high icon from Euro icon outline. right? And we also need a state. We need a state to do like a show, set show, and yeah, that is for the show and the slash icon. So yeah, everything should be working now. So this will be for the password. Then we'll need something else for we need something else for we need something else for the what's it called now? We need something else for the show or the yeah, boss, how are you? I was asking after you today. How are you? Were you in class? Did you join the class? So if you see here, right, if we type a password, right, anything here, then if you press this high, uh, why is this not working? This is supposed to work. Yeah, why is it not working? I think I thought it was working before, but yeah, I could fix it now. Let's try to fix that. So there should be a select. There should be a. Let's go to the login form. When you get to the high here, where's the highs here? So you want to make sure that this icon doesn't have I think if this icon has a is it select or something now? They're supposed to have a uh by default. Oh, there was something that was happening here. I can't remember what was happening here again. Hmm. Okay. Inspect. So if we inspect this, we have icon. It has an icon. It has an icon. I'm trying to locate the icon. So this icon has a pointer event. I think hidden. Is it this is CSS that is being applied? It's not supposed to so this is supposed to not hide it. Over cursor pointer. Okay, so the documentation to these components is somewhere. Should be Catalyst UI, Catalyst UI Tailwind. I think impute. Yeah. So with icons, by default, the icons are disabled. Here, the icons are not enabled, but there's a way that I was able to make it work. I can't remember what I did again. Let's also open Tailwind docs on the other side. I know that cursor impute, cursor. Oh, so cursor auto. Then pointer none. I want to know pointer none events. So pointer auto should allow us to pointer none. This is pointer none. Pointer none is what will not allow us to be able to click. But pointer auto should allow us to be able to click. So pointer none makes an element ignore pointer event, right? While pointer auto to revert the default browser behavior to pointer event like hover and click here. So we need pointer auto on that. Here pointer auto should be here. Pointer auto. So this should allow us to be able to click on the high button. Let's see. Is it clicking or it's still not clicking though? Uh, let's assume that I know what is going on. If show is true, cursor pointer. Let's make this cursor pointer. Oh, what am I missing? Missing something. I'm missing something here. Uh, it's not allowing me to click on that first. It's not allowing me to click. So if we have let's just make this refresh. Let's see. I want to be able to click on something. It's not doing that. Let's see. Console.log clicked. Yeah. And so why is it not allowing that to happen? Hmm. Um, everything. Okay, I think let's see. It's not still clicking. Show is false by default. Right. The show is false by default. Then if show is false, then this should be what we have here. Once we even have the pointer event none on top of it, then it should allow us to click that thing. It's not, uh, I think apart from this pointer event, no, is there something? Hmm, select, select, disabling select. Yeah, I think I probably will come back to fix that before again. But then I think I thought I had fixed it before. Where right. Let's see. Maybe let's just get it to the reset register. Hmm. For the register, it's going to still be the same behavior. Uh, import use state from React. So let's just move this to another file since we cannot use state inside the page.tsx. Right, we can cut this out of this place, and we can then do a, so inside of a server-side component, which our page.tsx server-side component, it doesn't allow us to use the use state. So we want to right click here to create a new file, and we can do register form.tsx, and we can paste this here, and here we can import all of the missing, we can add all the missing imports. You can add all the missing imports. So that should work. And inside of this page.tsx here, we can then import everything. All right, we can import the whole React register form, and that I think it should work. So now we can then have, so at the top we can now put use client at the top, right? Use client at the top, and the goal is to tell our application that this is a client operation. Field, the field is coming from the field and the input, the input and field, and think, okay, so we should have something that is element type is invalid. Receive the promise that results undefined. Lazy element must type resolve a function. Okay, what's the problem here? We can do export here. Export, and expect that to keep it there. Uh, so we have the name, the email, password, and for this email, we're going to have, for this password, we're going to have another one. So for this password here, we should have, so we can take out these. I think we can take this out. And I think we can also take out these. Yeah, we can take this out. So we have the password. We want to duplicate the password for the current password. So this is going to be duplicated, right? I'm just going to duplicate this to have another password, which would then be the current, sorry, confirm password, and we can put the top at the text, confirm password. The name is going to be confirm-password, and yeah, show. I think, yeah, everything should be fine now. Let's see if the labels are working. Let's see whether if, so here, this works, for here the label doesn't work, so that's something to fix. So for the password, HTML4, then type. Do we need IDs specially here? I was not sure what's supposed to have ID, but let's put ID there to see if it's going to match it up. At least this is HTML4. This is the ID here. So peradventure it's going to, so it's not linking. Okay, I think now it's linking the two hub. Why wasn't it linking it before? And why is the text rendered a little bit different? So am I using text? Am I using text? Okay, most likely for the label, the font size is medium. For font size medium, so we want to make that font size medium for everything that we have for the labels. This is font size medium, and for the password label, font size medium. Yeah, it's supposed to be the same size, except if there is a block font size medium. Okay, there's a text SM right on the two email there, which I think we've taken them out. So here we should now have the same size. And this font weight as well, there's a bold thing around this font weight. For this email here, the label does not have, does it have SM here? System refreshing. Is the hot reloading working? For some reason, the hot reload is taking time to. Okay, I think it's taking time too. So we have name, right? Is linked. Email is linked. Password is linked. Then confirm password is not linked yet. We want confirm password to be linked. And we're going to duplicate this and make this the ID. And yeah, that should be the confirm password. Then we don't need this remember me for anything here. We can take this out. So we don't need the remember me floor. Let's see. We don't need the so here we have these 4 records. So we have these 4 records. So we'll just try to insert them right into the picture. So this is not receiving focus. So I need to fix that. Why both of them are not working. And if you forgot your password, we want to shift it to this side. Let's just maintain. Forgot password. And there's a button here. So the button on that register place is not working. I did something to this button. I can't remember what I did to the button. Let me just take the button here. So we could just copy the whole idea of this login button and bring it into the register form. Yeah. So this is a component that we can reuse here, right? And I mean, we can even, okay, we can reuse that same component. I think we can reuse the component by putting export on this, right? Export, and we can give it an optional type. So we can say it's going to be the name is going to be type. We can just say type. If type is what? If type is register, if type is register, let's call it register. So if type is register, and we want type to have the type of what? Register or login, right? So if that text here, we're going to call this text, bring another, let's bring in another question mark here, and this is string here. So if type now, if type is equals to what? If type is equals to login, all right, if type is equals to login, then we can make this, if type is equals to login, we can make this sign in, else we can say it is what? It is register, or yeah, registering, register, and yeah, this works. So yeah, it means that by default, what's the default value for this type? The default is register. Well, let's call the default login so that it works by default for login without specifying a type. And when we want to import this now inside of this register form, then we can say, are we importing something from register form already? So we want to import login button, and we want to use the login button here. Want to use the login button here. So it's going to be login, right? Button. And we're going to say the type is what? Type is equals to register. And yeah, that works. And I think we should have a full button that is clickable, right? No. So when we try to click register button, it tries to submit all the information that we have here. I think with Flex, we can pull this forgot password to the left side, but let's still keep it there, right? If there is any need, we will, we can just give it a text underline when we hover on it. Then okay, so we need to sign. There's a sign up by Google. There's a sign up by GitHub as well that we want to try out. And then this not a member can change to, we can change that one to if you have an account, right, question mark, then that is going to be login, right, and this is going to be /login. And yeah, I think that should be major UI. That should be the major UI change that we want to do. So this should take us to login, and this should bring us to register. So so the goal will be, let's try to put in something here, and if we put something there, then we should be able to click on this information. Yeah. So because there is nothing that is connected to that button, so nothing is going to happen yet, right? So even though it saw the post, it saw that there was a post operation, right, and all of that, but we are not handling the process. But I hope you guys are following me, right? Or is there any part you want me to clarify right now, as of now? This is similar to everything that I think we want to make happen. Name each. Yeah, this is basic information just for us to be able to like register that information, and that will be the major flow there. So what do we want to do now? We want to I think the next thing would be um trying to bring in, maybe we should set up the auth again. Let's confirm that this next auth.js is really what it should be. Yeah, we're using credentials here, right? And so this is for authorization, right? Or for login. Then middleware.ts here. Yes, that should be this middleware.ts. Let's see whether it's the same thing. Middleware.ts. Even though there is, let's see. So this is following the documentation of Auth.js, which is another uh, entire different approach, but it's not. I think in the middleware.ts here, uh, nothing still. I mean, it's still almost the same thing, other than the fact that. hmm, Export hot has middleware, and I think we might just need to configure we might just need to configure um maybe the config. We might need to do a config here to, I'm not sure how this config works, right? But the configs is to tell the route that should be protected and the route that should not be protected. Basically, that's what we're trying to do. To say that, oh, this thing should be protected and this should not be protected. But there should be a default, there should be a working default that we can always use here. So I think in our actions, it would just be good for us in our action to write this is a authenticate. We can also do like a register here, right? We can do a register here, register, right? And yeah, let's say registering. And in this registering here, we can import this registering inside this place and use it right at the top here. So another thing we can do is that we can use use form state, right? We could directly, we could directly do this by just putting, I think we don't even need the method here. So we could directly put, register here, register, and I think it's gonna work. It should, yeah. Register from actions should just work here, because this is, you're passing a server action to this particular form here. And let's save. Let's try to run this. So fill this with information and you try to register this. And if we go to the logs, all right, if we go to the logs, we'll see the name, email, confirm password, right? We see the information that is being sent, right? And that shows that to a point we have something that is basic, that is working. Now, the next thing would be that if we want to, maybe, I mean, we can make it work there without using the use form state. Let's just make it work there. So what are the steps involved in register flow, right? The steps involved in register flow would be, we want to make we want to, okay, maybe we should just go ahead and bring in Zerd as well. Let's just bring in Zerd, right? Let's bring in Zerd into the project. So Zod is another way to help us to ensure that we are doing the right things, right? It helps with a lot of cool features between. So we can say import. Let's do this from Zod, and that is supposed to bring in Z from Zod, and so we can enforce our schema, right? We can enforce our schema right from this place. So the first thing is we can create a register schema. So we can say that z dot object, right? And we want to say this. Let's just put a trim right at the end, and we want password to also be trimmed in the end, and trim it in case there is there's trailing white slash or yeah, or white space. Then we want name. Maybe we should just put name here. We can do name. You can do name. Then this is a password. So for this password, we can do some other interesting things here. Maybe it should contain a super thing, contain extra characters and all this other thing, right? Which I might not be interested in at the moment. Then we can then do const register schema equals to this. So this is the register schema. So inside of this place here, we can then do register schema dot what dot save pass, and we want to pass email to be from dot get data name, right? And then we can do this here, and we can close the register here, and then we can console.log const the validated data or validated field, validated data. Let's say validated data equals to this, and we can console.log validated data, console.log validated data. So here I think yeah, we have something that works here. What's there? Why is there? Is there a problem in the code? So here we could do so we could validate this now and register this again. And so here it's telling us that success is false. We are getting a error. So where's the error coming from? So this is because there is nothing called password confirmation like this. It's supposed to be password hyphen confirmation. That is what handles our data on that side, and then we can register this, and we should be able to get a log of success. Okay, 1 2, why are we getting success? Okay, what is the error? Let's see what the error is first. Dot errors, validated field dot, is it error or errors now? Yeah, let's do both so that we'll see what's going on. So when I send this out, it's telling us that this is JavaScript. So it is telling us that it receives null for expected string and received null. For which, where is it receiving null from? Where? How? It said for confirmation password. Confirmation password. Expected string receives null. Oh, Oh yeah, this is supposed to be, or let me check in a register form. What are we using to send? Yeah, my name is Oluwashitemi Ojo, right? Ojo. Ojo should be easy for you. Uh, so the text, the input type password here should this confirm password. Let's see first. Confirm password. Something is wrong. Let's see. Let's just refresh everything and let me try to. Okay, what did I make the confirm password? Let's check the actions for confirm password. We said it should be string. This. Look at. Uh, let's just call it confirm password. I don't know why it is confirm password. Oh no, we can call this. Yeah, I think I can call this confirm password and it's gonna work. Just to make sure it is quoted, and that should be the case. Confirm password, and I think confirm hyphen password. Yeah, password. Confirm password. My name is Ojo, right? And thank you for joining the stream. And this is React, JavaScript, right? HTML, and all of the other interesting things that we have on the web. So if we try to submit the form, fill the detail, and we try to submit this here, we're still getting problems. Okay, my schema, confirm. I think this should work. Okay, so it's working now, right? So we have the validated data. So for example, now let's try to take out in a register form. Let's try to take out required. We're trying to take out all the required. Just comment out all the required that we have. So if we take out all the required that we have and we send this down right here, I think this will still not agree, right? Because we want this type to be text. And for this type to be text, we can then, it will allow us to now submit now. And if it allows us to submit, then we can now get, we can get a email that says that what invalid email was passed, right? And yeah, is only the email that is passed. Let's say our password is more than what we expect our password to be. So again, you can see that it will also throw extra error, right? Saying that the string must contain at least 8 characters, right? And it's also not checking for us whether the password that we typed is the same thing as the confirmed password. So we also need a validation to also pull that off to check. So that is something that I also want to do with Zerd now, right here, and say, okay, we want Zerd to what? We want a register, register schema dot refine. And if I'm correct, refine takes two things, right? So the things that we can refine, like it's already giving us the list of things that we can refine, right? We can refine, do a check, do something on the check password or on a password or whatnot. So we can maybe do a data here, and we want to say that if data dot this is the same thing, right? Or if data the password is not the same thing, I think. Is it the same thing? I can't even remember. Then we can have a message, right? And we say password did not match. And we can say the path. I think the path will be confirm password or password. I think any of the two can work. We can set that to work. So that is let's see whether this is going to catch the problem that we have now. So we have let's see, is it catching it? It's still not catching it. So we want it to be let's see, confirm password. Let's try to put maybe password. Let's see. Come on, I need to be able to see the password. I need to fix that button. So the errors here is only pointing to invalid email still. So it's not working. This refine is not working. So let's do refine.confirm password. If this is equals to if this is equals to this, what's that? If this is equals to this, if confirm password is equals to data dot password, then we can then tell it that message password did not match, right? And we want it to be unconfirmed password path. But then it should still be the same thing. I think it's not catching that particular error. Okay. Sorry. That's on me. I've not declared this as a maybe full register for let's just say register schema refined, right, will be this. And in this save validation here, I'm going to use register schema refined. And yeah, this is supposed to work here. So if we do save this now and we try to submit this button, yeah, and we should get extra information. So it knows now that the passwords do not match, and it also knows that it is a custom error that we added, and it's also keeping track of where that thing is happening, right? So we are successfully, even though our client side validation has been disabled, but we are successfully we're successfully handling like the check with Zerd on, we're successfully using Zerd to handle the whole check right here. So yeah, that is that about that here. So what else? What are we supposed to do after this now? So after we've done the validation here, so in case there is an error, right, we want to set up a system to handle the error, right? In case there is an error, we want to set up a system to handle the error if there is an error. So if there is an error, we want to do if validated data validated data dot think error, then we want to return, we want to console.log whatever the error is, and we want to catch the error by returning a object, returning the error. And we want to say it's supposed to be maybe we could just call it we can call it error, or maybe we can just call it mess error, and we can call this validated data dot error. So validated data dot error dot flatten. I think there's an internal method called flatten on that error, which is supposed to, which does array dot flat, right? So it flattens the error, and it allows us to have a dot field error that we can play with, and then we can do a message here to say there was a validation errors. So we can say validation error, and we can also tell it, we can duplicate, we can add some extra check and tell it that some fields are missing, right? Maybe email or this field or this field. So you can do something like check let's change this to a backtick. So we can change this to a backtick, and if we change this to a backtick, so we can say check so the fields that we're going to check, will be, so it's going to be validated. Let's just, maybe we can come on, no, not that. We can say fields fields field fields fields that has error now. So we want to list a list of fields that have errors. So we can say let fields equals to array dot errors dot path dot join with a, are we joining e dot path or join with a comma? Is it a comma now? I think a comma should work. And I can console.log this field to confirm. Let's console.log this to see what works. Let's put this first. Then I can console.log the value of this. So check fields. So that way you want your user to also know like the fields that are having issues. How come? If this is here, then we need one more here. So here we can now send this out, and we should be able to get, you can see a comma separated list. Yeah, Samuel. Hi. So we can get a comma separated list of what? Error field has problem and confirm password field has problem. So we can always get that and tell our user that check value, I think check val fields And yeah, that should be the proper error message that our user is going to get. So in this situation, there is a problem on email, and there's a problem from what? It's a problem from there's a problem from confirm password. And so there is a string of email and password here such that our user can know the list of areas that has problem. For example, let's take name out. So if name is out, then the field should have increased to 3 fields that have problems. So here on the server side, it will tell us that, okay, we have how many things? We have email has problem, name field has problem, and confirm password has problem. So you can see the list of fields that have problems right there. So that way, again, there's a validation field. Check this particular field such that our user understand what we are supposed to do. And also, based on the documentation of the component that we are using, I think our input state can have error state. I think we can make sure there is this error state. And for us to achieve this error state, we need to pass an invalid prop to that input, right? We need to pass an invalid prop to that input. So we need to find a way to make this red validation work, right, on that side. So to make the red validation thing work, right, we want to use something else to control so we want to use a use form state, right? It takes the action, which is register, and we can set an initial state. And in this situation, the initial state here can be a object, right? And this is very true. Initial state can be something like this. Is it? It should be confirmed, yeah. And this should be hit here. So we can say this is the initial state of what of what we're expecting, and this is supposed to return back what? Two things back to us here, right? It's going to return dispatch, and no, it's going to return state. State is likely to be the first thing, and dispatch. Let me check again, check the documentation to confirm that this is what is supposed to be. So here we can now use instead of using register here, we can now use dispatch, right? We can now use dispatch here, and we can also console.log what? Console.log state. So it means that the check that has been happening on the server side, but we need to send that check down to what? The client, because it's the client that is holding the form, and that is what use form state is helping us to do. The use form state is helping us to bridge the gap between the server side, because all of the errors that I've been seeing from Zod happens on the server side, right, within our Node.js context, right? But we wanted to send the whole thing back to the client, and that is why we are using we're using this approach here, right, to be able to. So state will now be what? So the first value of state is going to be this initial state here, but when it tries to do the submitting, then this will now change to whatever what register returns back to us. So let's see that in action for us to see what is happening right there. So we can now check the app now and try to register, and we still get the normal console.logs here on the server side. But if we check inside our browser, we should be able to see the logs of what is going on. So we're not yet seeing the logs yet. So why are we not getting the logs? We should be able to get the logs in the browser. Okay, I've not saved. I'm not sure I've saved. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so you can see that as the page renders, it's now telling us what our initial state is. So when we try to register, form data.get is not a function. Where is form data happening? Why is that blowing things up? Okay. No. It shouldn't blow up like that. Form data.get is not a function. Why is form data.get not a function? Hmm. What am I missing here? What am I missing here? Oh my god. Yes, I'm missing something else here. So there's a pref state here that register must contain here as well. So we need to also type this. Let's just put any here. So form data wasn't sending any data. That was why it was breaking earlier. But I think that should have fixed the problem that we have. So we can see the initial state on the server here, right, which is previous data. And this particular thing that you're looking at, this first thing here, is what is now serving as like, because this prev data is also available to us here. The previous data here, because let's do this here. Let's do registering form data and previous state so that it can log both things. Prev state. So this prev state, what will be inside this prev state will be the initial state that we are passing. Right? The initial state that we are passing is what will be inside there. So if we save this and we try to log the whole flow here, right? We can set something up. Let's take out this here so that we don't have any name. Should fail the validation check. So you can see now that there's a conversation now. We can now see that, oh, check the name field. So we want this field to be only field without s. So here we can make this s to be, we can make this s to work like this, right? If field length is greater than 1, then s, and if not, this. So we can, yeah, so the client side is now getting an idea of the error message that is happening. And you can see now that what, check the name field. Check the name field. So let's see, we break something more. Maybe we'll break the email more, right? We can see what register. Then it's saying that we'll check the email and the name field. Oh, let's see. Let's make sure our password is not correct. So you can say that check the email, the name, and the confirm password field. So we need to communicate this to our UI such that our UI will also respond to that error notification on our UI side. So we then need, why is it use form state? Um, okay, does he expect me to write a test here? So register is supposed to return something. Yeah, I think that's that's the major noise now. It wants me to type this previous state. Yeah, I'm going to fix that later on. Let's just go on. So based on the documentation that we have here, so we need to set an invalid prop, right? Error.has. So the errors, how do we handle this now? So we need, okay. So this must be invalid prop is going to be true or false, I think, if there is error. So, or can we pass error? Do we pass errors here? Is it possible to pass something here? errors. Is it possible to do that? And I can console.log the errors. I'm not sure. Let's see. Does it have the way of checking or getting the errors? I'm not sure it should. That should just be a usage. Let's see here. Yeah, it should be undefined. So this is not it here. So it means that inside of this one here, we can then say invalid errors. Where is errors coming from now? So it's going to, our error is going to be state. So we want to be like here, it's going to be state. So if there is a state dot, if there is a state dot errors, is there state dot errors now? Or what do we have inside state? State has error, right? And error has object for each one of them. So we want to get, so I want to get this now. I want to get state.error without s, state.error without s, right? State.error without s dot, let's do this here. This should be able to catch that here. I think this is supposed to work now. It's supposed to be able to get invalid now to be, this is supposed to have an idea of this name input here should have an idea of, there should be an invalid on this name here. Is there invalid here? Let's do this here. State dot errors dot name, state dot error dot name. All right. State dot error dot name, right? It's supposed to be state. Copy has or let's say copy, say store as a global object, and so it's supposed to be temp one dot errors, temp one dot temp one. Okay, yeah, dot name should give us, is it name now? So temp one dot error, yeah, and inside of that we want to do dot name, right? And the value of what, the value should be the first thing there, which is what we are looking for. So that is what we are looking for, right, on that side. So if there is state dot this here, so and we can say that this is, convert this to a boolean, right, with this exclamation here. I think an element access expression should take an argument. Possibly undefined. So for possibly undefined, there's something I can do there. My brain is not picking now, but there should be. So you can see that it is now able to to respond to the server side. It is able to respond to the server side signal that, oh, name is supposed to have a value, right? And it's not getting the value there, right? And also we can do the same thing on this side as well. And we should also be able to do the same thing for invalid, right? And we also need to be able to do that for the confirm password. We're able to do the invalid for the confirm hyphen password here. So this is supposed to be an array of string that has confirm hyphen password. And yeah, so now we will be able to get the particular field. Yeah, we should be able to get the particular field that probably has some problem. So if you try to do this, right, and we try to send this out, okay, because of the possibly undefined thing that is happening here. No, I think it's this year, right? Yeah, should be this year. Now let's do this here. This is yeah, I think this should be. Cannot read property of undefined. So we want to be sure that we want, so this there should be a check here. We need a check here to, because yeah, I think we should be able to do this. Optional chaining for array properties. I think this should be possible. There should be optional chaining for array properties. Yeah, there should be optional chaining for array properties. And if I do that and I try to send that, right? Which line? So first, I think I need to fix the undefined, the possible undefined situation here. So how do I fix this now? How can I handle this possible undefined situation? Or false by default, or false, I think, or false. So if we give it a possibility of or false, means that even if this is undefined, then it should take the possibility of considering it to be false. Yeah. Or just say empty string. Let's say this. Oh, let's do this way. Let's do boolean of this. So what I'm trying to say here is that, what is the boolean of empty string though? Let's see. So state.error, the state.error.name, right? That is not, that cannot flag the problem. But when we need to access, if so we want to do if state.this.length is greater than 0, right? If it's greater than 0, right, then we can do this, give it a fallback, or if it's greater than 0, yeah, I think this should work. Yeah, this should work. So I can now access something inside because that should not be undefined again. And I can now give it a fallback of, yeah, empty string in case that there's a problem. So you're still saying that if this and let's do this here. If this and state dot error question mark dot name, right? And then we want to say that if it has a dot length on it, right? It has a dot length and that length is greater than 0, right? Then you should do a check. So if you do a check on it, and yeah, I think this is supposed to work. Yeah, I think, yeah, this is, even though I'm not sure I like it's too long, but I think it can be better if I think about it properly. That's too long. So that's going to be for email and for password. So for the password here, yeah, we can do Boolean state and we can do password. Well, we can do a password here. And the other one would be what we can do for confirm password. So all we're just trying to do is what we want our UI to respond to the error message of what we have on the. So here we would have, this is not going to be name. This is going to be confirm password. I think it's going to be a string of what confirm password. I think here is supposed to be this. Yeah, I think. Let us see whether it's gonna work. So whatever part of the portion of the UI, so we can see that all the UI are responding to the invalid check. That is, there's a problem. And we can also now, we can also use the field is required, pass it a message at the end here. So we want to also pass a check. So there is an error message that we can import from input. We can import error message. Error message, is it here on the input? Exactly. So will it be false instead of throwing an error? So when there is no error signal, it will be false. That's when, so for example now, based on what we have here, if we fill the form up and we try to submit this form, right? If you try to submit the form, right, you can see that that takes out the whole thing, and there's no problem anymore. So the invalid prop will now be false because the fallback is that we are saying it is false because we're using, I think, Boolean of empty string should be false. Boolean of empty string should be false. Yeah. So it will set it to the false, and then we can have a fallback that we can work with. So which takes away the problem. So for example, now if we change something here and we try to use it, then it's only confirm password that has a problem. So we want to get error message from field set. I think error message is coming from this place. Error message is coming from this place. Let's see, error message is coming from this place. And so we want immediately after this place here, we want this check. We need this check again, right? It's just going to be a check like this. Let's put this here, right? And if this check is this here, if this check is we want this check to be, we want this check instead of it to be, I think instead of us to use the Boolean version now, we can then do if state dot this. So this will now be so this is now going to be a hand, and we want our error message. I think, yeah, we're supposed to have a error message here, and this is supposed to be what we're expecting. So let's see if that is what we're expecting at the top. So let me break this first one here, and I can try to break this. So we can see now that it is breaking, even though I think it's adding, is it the one that is adding some extra space, or do we have this amount of space before now? Okay, yeah, we have that. The space is not that much. I'm not sure whether, I think we can still leave it for now. We can still leave this for now. I could just copy this and take this into maybe I could give this error message a class name of the padding bottom is too much. Is it a padding bottom? I'm not sure whether it's a padding bottom per se like that, but at least it does what I want it to do. Let's just leave it there while I am going to also fix this, and this is going to be email, right, in case the email is breaking, or in case this is breaking for our password. So here, this is supposed to be for password, and the other one here will be for the confirm password. So this will be for the confirm password. So we can sue for confirm password, right? And yeah, we should be able to have this flow now. And if we try to pull this in, it sort of will work, right? Outrightly, no problem. You break one, there should be a problem. So it is breaking the input flow. So if I try to submit, it's breaking the input flow. So the icon flow here. So I think let's try this here. Let's put this immediately after this place here. Let's see whether it's gonna break that. Okay, I think it's back. And we have for the other password flow here, right? We can cut this out and show it here. And yeah, everything should work here. So this is us putting an extra error validation, right, with the help of Zord, right, into the flow, right, just to make things a little bit interesting. So password do not match, string do not match, and which makes sense. So even though our user will probably not run into this error because there will be client-side validation, right? Because again, which required, right, that is client-side validation, right? But if people bypasses the client-side validation, they will still run into this requirement, right, which is important and is necessary for them to do. So that way, we would have fixed that problem. Now, the next thing would be to fix. I should also fix this problem later. So I'm just going to do something here. Let's just do it to do here. Fix type, fix type error. What else? Do we understand the adding the error state to the UI? Do we understand the adding the error state to the UI, right? And this is also we might still need maybe another major one, maybe by the bottom. Maybe we might still need another one. Um, maybe we might still need another major one by the bottom. Hmm. Maybe we might still need another, maybe just by the bottom here, to just say that, to just tell us, because in the console we have another error message that we're not displaying, which is this message. So we want to probably put that there as a we wanna, how do we do that now? Because I'm just thinking about that. I'm thinking. Yeah, I think I should be able to add a, where's the button? The login button. Where's the log this to register button? Where is the register button? So this is the button that register was here. So below this here, is it below here? We can do below here. We can do below here, below the form, right? And we can say this is going to be what? Maybe the general error message. So we can put something there, and I think we can make use of the alert, not the alert per se. I think we can make use of what's it called now? There is a badge. Is it a badge? No, not badge. There should be something that we can put to use here to display that error. Maybe we can use text and give it color. Say give it color. or just use ordinary div, right? We can use an ordinary div and just give it the red color majorly. I mean, let's just use an ordinary div for now and make it a div. Okay, I think I can even borrow this. Let's see whether it's going to work. Yeah, if the error message is going to work there. So it's going to be state.message here. Let's see. Let's see. Merci beaucoup. Yes, you can use a description component. But it is not inside the relevant parent. Okay, so it's not working here. Description. Let's see. Description. Right, we have the description, right, which is supposed to work from field set. So let's see, how does the description work? How does description work? So basically, I just probably would just description 2 wouldn't work because it's not within the maybe the right space. So I'm just going to use a div. All right, and I can style the div based on what we expect it to be. We can say text, maybe text hyphen red. Just give it a strong red, and yeah, that should work. And so if we run into this now, when we try to fill this, so we take this out and we fill this register, so we can see this here, right? And we can see the small red message there. Let's check what's the value of this red here. The red is how do I know what red is applied here? So text red 600. So I could just give text red 600 here, right? Such that they have the same state. Yeah, they have the same red feature. And we can also make it bold if there's any need, but I think that works. So check the email field. This is going to be too long. Okay, it's holding, right? Let's say password is failing, right? Register, check the password, blah blah blah, and please, for the name, send us something. So again, we've implemented adequate server-side check, then with a proper error message for our user to be able to use. And I think the next thing would just be to focus on this action right here. And we want to start going to the database here. So basically, what will happen next year is that there will be series of, after we are sure that we've handled the validation on both the maybe the client side and yeah, so we want to hash the password, right? Hash password. Then from there, we want to save to the database, send email to our user, and then return a success message and sign in what? And redirect. Is that you redirect people to log in, or if you have the power to log them in, right? You can just or log in the user or log in user directly. So it depends on the application. There are some applications that after you've done the register, they will still prompt you to do your signing by yourself. But there are going to be some applications where they can instantly initiate a login flow and try to initiate you to log in, right? So whichever one we want to do, right, we are able to achieve that. And also, I think we can write a function we can write an async function here. So I'm just going to bring in something called resend. For those of us who don't know what resend is a way for us to send email, right, down to our user. Resend is a way for us to send emails. So you can we can use, it's a beautiful company that allow us to send email, right? So I'm just going to quickly implement that, and we'll call the whole thing a day today. It's been amazing, right? Working on this whole project thus far. We can say born install resend, and once we install resend, we need the API keys. I'm going to add the API keys behind the scene, and we can now set up a function, right? Export async. Let's see who is building something. Sorry, let me check something. Somebody's trying to do something. Let me check GitHub. PR1 1826 1826. All right. So we can do async. We can do an async here. Export async function and maybe send email, right? So for send email, we want to be able to send email, right, to our user using we want to be able to send email for a user using resend. And so we want to say something like console.log here, sending email, right? In between here, we want to, well, before we come in between here, let's just at the top import resend from resend, I think, or yeah, import resend from, I think we should be able to import resend from resend. Import resend from resend, and then we can then do a const of resend and pass in the process dot what dot env. What do we call that now? Should we call it resend email? Let's just call it resend underscore API underscore key, and yeah, we can send this. Let's see, what's this here? Said that is not constructible. So this is not a default export. That's not a default export. It's a this here, and we can do an let's just do a try catch, and we can do a catch. Maybe we can say error and console.log error. So we could say the error message is going to be error sending email, right? We can make this happen, and we can throw a new error, and we can put this here. And so within this place, we could just do an await resend dot email dot what send, right? And open this here, And so that's going to be from a particular destination, right? We can say from a particular destination to, right, maybe to another destination, which is a email of a particular user, right? Maybe email, and we also want to maybe send a subject. So allow our user to specify what the subject is going to be like for the email, and we want the text. So now this is the advantage of using resend, because resend allow us to send React code, right? React component or React HTML or React generated HTML out. So we need something here to help us to, we need something here to help us to generate React component like data, right? So here I'm going to create subject, and that is a string email, and React. I think we can also bring in, should we bring in, you're welcome, you're not so late, not so late. So maybe name, let's just take name here, let's take name here, string. So we need a component to help us to generate the sending of the email, right? The sending of the email. So from, let's just make this, I'm going to use another domain, but for now I'm just going to use one of the domains that I have here, because I have another domain that I'm going to use for this. So I'm going to set up another domain for the sending of this email later on. But for now, we could just say beauty forever team, right? Beauty forever team. We can just say maybe hello, right, at dev. So something of nature, something of this nature. So for this one here, we can say generate email template, right? And we can pass it, maybe pass it name and subject, right? Subject, right? And yeah, so we need to create a function called generate email template, and we will where do we create that? Where do we create that? Where do we create that? I think we can create that and put it inside. Let's see. I think, do we have a UI folder? Okay, we don't have a UI folder. Okay, we have a UI folder. So we can say a file, then we can say email templates, and we can call this email template dot let's say email template for now. Email template dot let's just say sample.tsx for now. And inside of this place, we just need a function that can send email. I'm just going to copy and paste something that would help us to just something similar to what we have there, something that can just help us in terms of the sending of the email. I'm just going to do this. Let's do this there. Let's do this here. Let's just do this. So basically, this is something similar, right? It's just a function, a React function. It takes this, and hello name, and do this. So we're using maybe hello. Let's say hello, hello, or let's say beauty Beauty Forever. Beauty Forever is the name of our company, right? Beauty Forever is the name of our company. Beauty Forever. Okay, so basically we have this sample working. Then we can import this now and say import generate from, so let's say import generate from let's say hash. We have, this is supposed to be star, then we have, I think it's supposed to be hub forward slash UI. We should be able to access UI, then forward slash email templates and forward slash sample. And is it a default? Now let's check sample.tsx. It's named, so we can call it what's the name now? Email template. Email template has what? As generate email template. As generate email template. Right. So that works. Right. So basically, we should now have something that can send email to our user. And eventually, we also need to install some other things. Since I'm going to be using a Vercel, I'm just going to be using a Vercel database for now, just to make this work. I need to set up. I probably need to just go through the whole setting up of the authentication just to check if everything is correct as it should be. Right, I'm not using this DB anymore, just middleware, this auth and the auth config. There should be a hot config. Yeah, there should be a hot config somewhere here. I can't find the hot config. We should have a hot config that I need to set up here. So I guess we can bring the whole thing to a close, right? We can bring the whole streaming to a close, right? But then I think we moved a little bit more, right? We have something that can track validation on the server side. Yes, I'm tired. You don't want me to rest? I've been speaking for how many hours now? I've been speaking for like 2 hours, and I've been sitting. So, yes, I mean it's a video on YouTube. You can watch it again, right? You can watch it again. It's live there on the YouTube. The same link that you're using to watch it now, you can still watch it again later on. I would have loved to make the UI functional, but I'm tired, right? I need to rest. So I hope that I can try to just do more than what we are doing. So the next is supposed to be Fridays and Saturdays. That's what I do. Fridays and Saturdays. So on Friday, I did JavaScript. You can check out this JavaScript episode that we did as well. For those who were on the JavaScript episode, you notice that we learned something interesting in JavaScript, right? We learned how to create function, like using the function constructor, right? Which is very cool, right? So you can create a function constructor by specifying the parameters, right? And you can say what is going to be the body of the function. So you can say the body of the function is return a plus b, right? So we learn something like this, and then we can do sum into brackets. So you see, it knows now that, oh, I can pass 10 and I can pass 20, and this is a valid function. So using the constructor function, we can create functions, right? That was what we learned. And you can make the whole thing a string. But if you make the whole thing a string, then you have to invoke it. So if you make the whole thing a string, how do I do that again? I've forgotten how to do this. My bad. Let me try this though. It should be return something like this. Yeah. Right. So it should be, this should be the a comma b, right? And this should be a plus b, I think so. Yeah. And yeah, this should be it here. Yeah, so this is supposed to be let sum 2 equals to this. So sum 2 is now a function, right, that we can call, and you can say 10 and 30, and we have 40. So yes, that was what we learned, the ability to create, use function constructors to, to call stuff. And we also talked about, if you have a function that we've created, so sum is a function that we've created, right? So sum can have name. You can give the function name. The name is an anonymous, right? So you can give it a name and say add, right? That's now the name of the function. So by the time somebody tries to use sum, right, you're saying that, oh, sum dot name. Let's see whether it stays. Sum dot name is still anonymous, so you cannot override it, right? So inside of any function that we've created, there is a function object. That is, you can now pass value and save value inside of that function. So you can say age equals to 90, right? So that is a sum object, or their sum object, their functions, it's called function object, and you can use the function object to, to trigger many interesting things. And we learned about execution context, we learned about variable scope, blocks, differences between the way VAR, let, and const works within the execution context structures. But I mean, those are the things that we talked about. I try to keep up as much as possible to stream on Friday JavaScript, and then on Saturday React / Next.js and all like that. So, but then you can catch up on all the videos on my channel, and please tell somebody to tell somebody about the channel, right? I'm just, hoping people learn. But most importantly, for me as a person, this channel has been like a source of blessing for me to learn, to so if it's Nigerian time, it's supposed to be 9 p.m. Nigerian time, 9 p.m., 9:30 p.m., right? You can turn on the notification for YouTube, right? Around 9 p.m. Nigerian time on Fridays and Saturdays. So yeah, it's a lot, it's a lot doing all of this together. My Saturday is already choked. My Saturday is already very choked. So just trying to manage time well to see how we can, just keep pushing. But I hope we learned one or two things today. It's just a way for me to, share one or two things with you guys. And if you have something, if you have questions, if you have JavaScript React related questions, just let me know, right? And I can definitely talk about them right on the stream. So thank you again for joining, everybody. Bosse, thank you, Waris. For those that are online and I don't know you, thank you as well. You can always drop comments. I'm always willing to know as many persons who are joining and learning from this as much as possible. So I mean, if you have questions during the next one, you can bring them. Then we can learn, paste the question in the chat, I know that there will be people to. So I'm going to get this toggle to work. I need this toggle to work. Make it a button where we can see the password there. So notice that. So thank you again, and I'll see you on the next episode. And bye for now.